right, everybody. Welcome to today's Local Yokels Podcast. I'm your host, Neil Colley, and we have a special guest in house today, Mr. Pat Hardison.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Welcome for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you for coming in instead of welcome. Sorry about that. That's
You're
stupid.
good.
However, I just want to kind of make a quick introduction of you for people that don't know who you are. Explain to them why you're here with us today and what your story is.
I am Pat Hardison, former firefighter in Senatobia. Was injured in the line of duty in 2001. Went through several, so like 70-something surgeries on
70 surgeries. Yeah. 70 to be
in
clear.
Memphis, and then in 2013 went to actually started in Baltimore, looking into a face transplant for my vision. My eyelids had burned off, and my doctor had done basically everything he could do. So we started that process, and my doctor wound up leaving and going to New York. So I wound up in 2015 having a full face transplant, and at NYU, the first full face transplant
in human history.
That made it. They tried it one time before in France, but the patient died.
Right.
Got infection.
So you are the first full face transplant, successful one.
Correct.
In human history. Now, there was partials and there was pieces.
Several partials. I think there's 40-something now worldwide.
But you were the first ever successful full face human transplant.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, look, congratulations on that, because I know that that's an amazing story within itself. So, all right. So, grew up here locally, born and bred.
Yep. Tate County, man.
Tate County, Mississippi, Senatobia, primarily.
Well, I grew up in Strayhorn, actually. I lived there till I was 15, and my parents moved to Senatobia when I was 15, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah, I got you. Just giving the people a little bit of backstory, because we're filming in DeSoto County. It's all North Mississippi folks that don't know Pat. When I tell people about Pat, they're like, who? And I'm like, I can't believe you don't know that. And
I was actually injured in DeSoto County. We came to DeSoto County for mutual aid call, and I was actually injured.
So tell that story a little bit, how this happened to you.
Just an average day, we'd
firefighter.
Hanging out at the firehouse, and then on September day, we'd go down in the morning and just sit and drink coffee and chat and just joking around with things. I joined the fire department in 94, so this is 2001 by this time. So I had made captain by then, and just a passion. It was the best job ever, you'd think, And I had my own business, so it really wasn't about the money. It was just being able to help my community and do things that I enjoyed. So we had that morning, we went down there drinking coffee, and I told them, let's get us out today, because it was slow that time of year at my shop. So after lunch, I actually went down to the firehouse and ate lunch, and after lunch, we got the call as a mutual aid call at Love Fire Department, because Hernando had 2 other house fires going at that same time. So we loaded up and came to on Wheeler Road in Love and assisted them in a structure fire.
Right. So Love, Mississippi, which is south of Hernando.
Yep.
In between there and Coldwater.
Yep.
So you were probably working out of the Tate side. Is that where you were coming from?
Station 1.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Station 1.
Gotcha. So the fire, in that particular, not to elaborate too much, but one of the things I want to tell people about before we get too far started in this is Pat actually has a book out right now that's called Facing the Fire, Pat Hardison. Yeah. And I wanted to kind of make sure people saw this, if you can see it in there without a glare on there. Part of the reason why he's kind of in here today is because I want to help people understand the story and let people know who Pat is. Because, I know there's a lot of you that know Pat around here, because he's maybe the most famous person I know, to be honest with you.
Not hardly.
But in the world. But a lot of folks don't realize he resides here. He lives in our community, and it happened right here in our community, the accident did. And so also I want to give a little shout out to your author. You want to say hello to her?
Miss Carolyn.
Miss Carolyn. She was the best. Godsend. She was at Rose and Pearl Publishing. Is she local from our area?
Yes, she worked in Northwest for years and retired and opened up her own publishing company.
Fantastic. It's Rose and Pearl Publishing. She is the author of the Facing the Fire by Pat Hardison. And you have quite a few different, you were telling me the other night, we actually have dinner. So we were talking with our buddy Clyde that they like to eat steaks about every night of the week. But anyway, you had this hardback that you showed me, but also you have audio.
Yeah, we have audio, Kindle, paperback.
Everything anybody could want. You can order it online. Where would they go online to find this book?
Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, what's the one more thing? One that she told me, I can't remember what Miss Carolyn said. But those 3 places for sure, and then you get it at Local in San Antonio.
Sure. And if you reach out to the show, I can always send a link on there. Derek will put it on our intro for our podcast to let you know how to order Facing the Fire with Pat Hardison. Cool little bookmarks, things of that nature. The biggest thing is this is all goes to support the author as well as the unfortunate events of the situation. And I know you, Pat, you're going to give these proceeds somewhere.
Yeah,
they're hopefully going. You've already helped one of my programs. I already know. So
hopefully.
Yeah. So I know how you are. You're a very helpful, give back to the public kind of guy. So I'm aware of that. So guys, reach out, try to support Pat and the author by ordering this book. I think it's important. I can't wait to read it, to be honest with you. So, and I wouldn't even lie to you and tell you I've read it because I haven't. So
yeah, it's a good book. I mean, I guess I'm partial to it because it's my story, and it was a hard book to write, but at the end of the day, it was well worth it.
Yes. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on the days of events that kind of started off with that?
Just basically, we pull up to the structure fire that's burning. We see.
Was it a house?
It was actually a trailer. We didn't know that at the time because they built the house around the trailer.
Oh, okay.
So it was double roof, and we could see fire coming out the eaves of the house. So we put on air packs and attacked the fire. And we went in to attack the fire, and we searched the whole house and looked inside in every room we thought. And of course, it came back out because nobody was in there. The house was fully burning by then. So the lady's husband he came running up to us. And he was jumping. I can see him right now. He was jumping up and down. He kept saying, my wife's in the house. My wife's in the house. And I said, she's not in the house. We looked in every room. He said, our car is here. She's in the house. So against my better judgment, I changed out air packs, went back in the house. And I didn't even know this until one of my buddies had talked to Miss Carolyn about the book. But we went into a window on I guess it would have been the north eave of the house. And they went in through the front door, and they didn't know we were in there. Mm. So they were pushing the fire basically toward us. Oh, wow. So all these years, I thought it was, all something I did, which it was. Still owning it, not that. But at the end of the day, it was, I was right the first time. I should have just stuck to my guns, and who knows what happened. But what if I would have been wrong? What if she would have been in there? Then I had to live with that.
Yeah. Whew. So 20 some odd years later, you find out something new. Just by writing the book. Miss Carolyn interviewed one of your coworkers. And
actually my neighbor, and it's just, which it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It is what it is.
Yeah. And by the way, to let people know, in the book, it gives all the details of all that stuff, I'm sure. And
so many stories in the book, but there's still so many that I couldn't tell. All the people that I came in contact with, my doctors, my nurses, they were great, because as soon as everything fell apart and I got to the window and somebody pulled me out and I was laying on the ground, my main concern was my wife and kids at that time, make sure they took care of, and which I don't have any doubt that they would have made sure they were taken care of. Sure. And then they put me in the ambulance and we drove about 2 miles down the road or a mile down the road and got in a helicopter and went on. And when I got to the med, it was... everything was total darkness to me. I could see for just a little while, and then they bandaged me all up. So I was basically in there, couldn't see anything, didn't know any faces. All I knew was voices. Right. So it was tough. First 63 days was tough. 63. Came home. I kept asking my doctors. I kept saying, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to see my kids. And he kept saying, well, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. On day 62, he came in, and I said, I'm ready to go home. And he said, you are tomorrow. And I said, I can't. I'm not ready. Oh, my goodness. I can't see. I can't go home yet. Well, explain that a little bit. Well, just... Yeah, like the going home. I know that probably the biggest part of this, obviously people think about the pain and stuff that you went through because obviously, any kind of burn is incredibly painful, even if you just burn your finger, right? It is, but they get medication that'll end it and give it, you forget about a lot of the pain and stuff. Sure. There's so much emotional pain. Physical pain, the body forgets on itself. There's a lot of PTSD and emotional pain. Not really. I mean, I have a lot of emotional pain through things that inspired over the years, but not from the pain of the accident. The accident, not at that. Probably the many surgeries. But I was thinking more of like the standpoint of like, that is the hard part for sure, like enduring all that. But like, reintroducing yourself to your family is
physically somebody different.
It was tough on my kids, especially my two girls, because my youngest, she was only 2 at that time.
Right.
No, she was actually 2 because she was born in 99. And then my oldest was in school and stuff, and kids had heard things on the news. They'd heard that, all these horror stories, and they went back and was asking her about it. She was like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So she didn't know she was having to do that. And then my daughter actually had to stay away from her own home because she couldn't stay in the house. She'd scream and cry.
When she saw
When I came home, I was like, I don't know. I couldn't see myself, so I didn't know why she was, so upset and stuff. But once I did see myself, I figured it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's definitely, for a child, it's probably difficult. Yeah, absolutely. But they learned to adjust.
They did.
And they learned that it was Daddy after you started talking to them and stuff. And they learned to love you unconditionally.
100%. All I had to do is grab a hold of them and hug them and tell them.
And they knew right then. Yeah. Just the initial part was tough.
Yeah.
So, man, I couldn't even imagine going through that. Like, just the heartbreak of.
There's so much that people just, like I said, you can't put it in the book.
You can't put it in the words. Yeah.
Every single day was a challenge. You had to get up in the morning and get yourself mentally prepared for that day.
Yeah.
No matter what it brought.
Yeah.
Some days were better than others. Some days where you come home, just lay down and sleep it off.
Yeah.
That's all you could do.
A lot of depression.
Well, of course.
Yeah. It was a tough time for you.
It was.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, we know the initial factors, and all this is in the book, guys. Some of it isn't. Some of it isn't. Some of the stories he's going to tell today is not in the book. He told me that. We're just going to have a conversation. We don't have a set of questions or anything. I'm just kind of asking from a curious standpoint as a friend that, things I want to know, because I'm not just totally aware of everything that took place. But I do know that, you didn't really have a face for how many years?
No, it was, I got injured in 2001, and basically my life went from a normal dad working every day, owning a successful business, coming home to my family, doing all the, had the cars, the boats, which all that meant nothing at the end of the day. But after my life changed that day.
You were living the American dream.
It went from that to having surgery every 3 weeks, coming home, going back in the hospital, 2 weeks later, having another surgery. So every one surgery I had to have 2 because they put a base down.
Sure.
And then they would put the skin graft on top of that.
And this went on for years.
It was, until I went to the doctor in 2011 or 12 and talked to my eye doctor, and he said, Pat, there's nothing else I can do.
Oh, wow.
And then you're 2200 right now, and it's only going to get worse because your eyes are wide open all the time. I can't make eyelids blink.
Right. So part of the trouble was just, how did you sleep? Like all
basically,
that stuff.
I would keep my hand over my eyes. That's how I slept for years.
Wow, man.
I still kept myself doing it now because I got so used to that.
Habit. Habit. Yeah. Wow. I bet that ain't in the book.
I don't know how. I look back in writing that book, the stories that I did tell. I tried to get some of the good ones in there, but even with that, I still look back and say, how did I do that?
Yeah, just
it's got to be the grace of God,
struggle.
Because
it is.
There's no other way that I could have made it through that.
So your faith is incredible, apparently.
It wasn't for a while. I was really mad at God. I was like, hey, this all worked out. And everything was going good. I'm going to retire when I'm 42, 43 years old and let my kids take over the business, and it's going to be great. And and just like Clyde told me just the other day, he said, Pat, we're all one accident or one bad decision away from a totally different life.
Absolutely. He's right about
so
that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so right.
That's our good buddy Clyde Bynum, Spider Off-Road.
He's been a big
shit out. Yeah.
He's everybody needs a Clyde in their life.
I'm glad to have Clyde in my life.
There's no other way to say it. He's got some strange ways. I love him like a brother.
I think all those Bynum boys have some strange ways. We were talking about that.
I can call him right now, and if anything in his will to do, he would be right there. And I hope he knows I'd do the same.
I know he knows that.
And his fiance Crystal is the same way.
She's an amazing person too. Yeah, they're about like me. They got a lot of unnecessary but self-inflicted gunshot wounds going on. Like we get ourselves involved in a lot of stuff. Yeah, and I know they do too in different ways. As a matter of fact, I've got them involved in something I'm trying to do. He
loves it. Don't
I know
think
it.
He doesn't.
I know it.
He loves it.
But a shout out to both of them and their whole families, by the way. Big Clyde, Mama.
No, they're all
of them. CJ, all of them, man. They're all amazing. I love the whole family. They really are good people, man.
Just one of a kind.
So in your I guess I try not to, I want to use the right words here. So I guess as you're traversing this ongoing operation, every couple of weeks, having to do something new every month, you finally get to a point to where you're like, dang, man, this is it. This is all they can do. Your doctor tells you that.
I had the hope of.
And this, by the way, this is over the course of like a decade or better that you've been doing surgery after surgery after surgery.
From 2001, this became my life until in 2004, I kind of took a break and kind of went back to work and worked. But my health started deteriorating again. My vision got worse. It was, by this time, I was heavily addicted to pain medication because I came home addicted to pain medication, and back then they never told me you got to go to a pain clinic. So I had to try to figure out they'd give you enough for about 3 days, and then you're having to go back to Memphis, sit there and get more. And it got to be very, very bad.
So then you're having to deal with this somewhat of addiction.
Because I'd quit taking medication and start feeling better after about a week, but then I got right back in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to start it all back over, and it was just a never-ending cycle.
Man.
And it finally got to be where my dad said, I'm not letting you suffer anymore. I'll find something somewhere. So we started buying pain pills on the street.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to do. I mean,
it's an unfortunate.
What I thought I had to do. I didn't know about the pain clinics and all this stuff. So
right. Yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, I think that's what happens with a lot of folks. Nothing severely as you, but even just the simple thing of like.
Well, and don't get me wrong. I knew when I was taking them wrong. It was all my fault. But that was the one thing that I could do that it didn't leave me, and I could knock the edge off. I didn't care what you looked at me and thought. I didn't care what this person looked at me and thought. If this kid ran off crying, I didn't care.
Right.
I was numb to that.
Right.
So that's where I wanted to be, and that's it's one of the things that I had to do to get better.
So to deal with substance abuse, I mean, it started off as being a way to mask the physical pain, but then it come back to the emotional side.
It was awful. And then I'd go to this psychiatrist because I didn't even want to see a psychiatrist, and they'd tell me, you got to go to this one. It's insurance protocol, because although I was a volunteer, I still had all my medical treatment covered by workman's comp.
Right.
So I didn't get a salary. I didn't get paid from them, but I did have to go. I did get medical coverage, so that worked out good with that.
Worked out good.
I went to my first psychiatrist. He was an attorney and a psychiatrist.
Interesting.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
I think his name was Dr. Walters or something, but he was one of the best. He actually cared for me. He would help me and talk to me, and I felt a connection with him, of course, when I went to see him about 8 months or so, and then he quit practicing and went back to being an attorney.
Right.
So I had to find another one, and it was a quack.
Quack.
and then the third one, in 2008 or 2007, I went to one, and he wound up actually going to prison.
Really?
Because he had so many people messed up.
Oh, wow.
He went to Dr. Farmer. I'll never forget his name, and I'm sure he's dead. No, he was.
Folks, Google that and find out. Do not go to him if he's still practicing.
There's no way. He was 80-something, and he went to prison and served. He served time.
Oh, wow, man.
Because he had actually
messed up so many people.
Oh, when I went in and talked to him, he basically looked at me and said, Patrick, I don't know what I would do if I were you, and just started writing. He gave me a pill for everything: sleep, eat, everything.
Oh, wow.
He would give me Xanax, and he'd say, take half in the morning and half at night, but he gave me double the amount I'm supposed to have.
Right.
And I don't know if he thought he was trying to help me or what, but he only threw gas on a wildly burning fire.
Yeah, that's all you needed was some more stuff.
That was
it. Yeah.
And by this time, I was so depressed because I'd added more.
Yeah.
To all the loss and the heartache and the pain. It was just...
Not to mention relationships, at this time was probably...
Yeah, I mean, difficult. My wife had left in 2006 because I had basically lost everything. My business had shut down. I had lost my home. Everything that I had lost it, but I never quit taking medication.
Right.
And it wasn't because that I wanted to take them all the time. I kept thinking in my head, because I had doctors tell me, you're going to have to take this to get through. So that's what I did. In my head, it was okay.
Right.
But, I knew 20 or 30 a day wasn't okay. But
whew, that's a lot.
Yeah,
You're just a walking zombie.
I'd had built up such a tolerance to it. I could take 10 and never know,
Wow.
Just nothing to it.
Yeah. Man, I didn't
realize how bad it was until in 2008 when I'd got in trouble. Because after the money ran out, the addiction didn't stop. So I stole some prescription pad from my eye doctor and wrote prescriptions out and took them in, and that's how the whole thing came crumbling down. Thank God.
Thank goodness. Saved your life probably at that point.
If it hadn't I would have overdosed. If it would have been today with all the fentanyl and everything, man, I'd have been gone a long time ago.
Shoot, something off the street now, one pill could kill you.
Yeah, you know, and it was a very bad deal.
So it took you down this road. I mean, eventually it got to be, lost wives and business and financial.
I was 30-something years old. I had to move back in with my parents.
Yeah.
And my wife and kids had moved in with her parents. And it was just, I had so much pride and I was so ashamed.
Yeah.
But I just kind of hid. I put myself in my own jail.
Right.
In my upstairs in my mother and dad's house. I was in there and I didn't go see anybody. I didn't stay. I stayed there all I could.
Which, by the way, can happen to a lot of people.
Oh, it can, quick.
However, they don't have this one dynamic that you got going on at this time. Is the problem that started this whole thing was the fact that you're an extremely, extremely unique case in the burn victim world to where you lived through a horrible, horrible accident.
It is.
And you're walking around, not only, like you said, it didn't bother you anymore about them looking at you and judging you and things, but you were that person. Like you really were. No face, no eyelids. This was a difficult time in your life.
No, it was like, I had, in 2003, we had, Cullen was born in 2004, and we had bought a camper. And we went camping some, and there was a group of kids, and they would all get up at the campground and play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was Bill and his kid. He had kids and young kids, and my kids, and everybody camping had kids over there. And it was some other people that we met on the campground. They had young kids. Well, they wouldn't get close to me. They would come over there by the campground, but they'd see me and they'd take off running. And they would, and it was just, I couldn't get through to them. Once I could talk to the kids and stuff, I'd break the ice and it would be okay. So this little girl, she kept running over to us. She'd get close and she'd just stare, and you could tell that she was terrified.
Yeah.
So she finally worked up enough courage to get over there and talk to him, and she got over there and she said, "Well, what happened to you?" And it was some wood parked at Sardis in the little camp area. And I said, "You see them woods over there?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I got in a fight with a tiger." I said, "I killed the tiger, though." And she looked at me real funny and took off running. She went and told all her friends I was the guy that fought the tiger. And after that,
they all came to you.
They came.
Once they realized.
Stayed at our campground.
That's amazing.
It was just, I had to do stuff like that every day. It was a different challenge.
Yeah, it was a different challenge, but you got through it. But that's what I was trying to point out to the listeners is like, not only were you dealing with this unbelievable scenario of surviving a horrific accident, burn victim survivor, you're also you're involved in the side of addiction.
Yeah.
It takes you down a road you never could see coming.
No.
And
never.
Lose your wife, lose your family, lose your finances, lose everything. You're rock bottom back in mom and dad's house, basement technically.
Yeah.
They're really your only support system at this point 100%. In time.
And my dad was alcoholic, so that wasn't a good combination.
That wasn't helping anything either, No. But thank gosh for good parents, like in a sense of where you had a place to land.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're in the 2010-11 area, right?
Yeah.
And then the doctor tells you also, we've done all we can do for you. So
as far as my eyelids go, they could have kept patching me up, but they were never going to get me where I wanted to be.
So introduce folks to the time when it comes to where someone reaches out to you about the face transplant.
Well, Brother Clay Moore, he was actually on the fire scene with me that day. He was a volunteer fireman also. And he had drove me to the doctor that day, and we got in there, and that's when Dr. Fleming told me, he said, "Pat, there's nothing else I can do. It's just, we've done all we do, and I can't make eyelids blink. That skin's too stiff. And if you don't get something, we don't do something, you'll be blind. You won't see your kids anymore." So I told him, we can't do that, Doc. We got to figure out something else. So Clay could tell I was pretty upset and frustrated on the way home. And he said, "Pat, I was watching something online the other night, and I saw a guy that got a face transplant. And to me, that's crazy.
It sounds crazy.
Unreal.
Even now, you know.
They're not, this isn't Face Off. This isn't a movie. This is real life.
This is real life,
so,
yeah.
He said, "Well, I'm going to just email that guy and just look up some other doctors and see." Because at this time, they had done a couple of partials, face transplant, like, gunshot wounds.
Sure.
So the very next day, I get a call from a doctor in Baltimore, Dr. Rodriguez. He called me, and he was asking me some questions and this, that, and the other. And he kept saying, he said, "I don't know if I can help you, but if you'll get your medical records to me, then I'll see what I can do." So I had another appointment with Dr. Fleming right after that. And I went to Dr. Fleming and I said, Doc, I'm thinking about looking into a face transplant. And he said, no. He said, Pat, that's not, or Patrick, they all call me Patrick. He said, Patrick, that's not what I would think you'd want to do. He said, there's a lot of stuff you got to hook up. He said, it's not as easy as it sounds. And I said, well, I want to look at it and see. I want to get my medical records released to this doctor in Baltimore. And he said, okay. So I went to the desk and signed the release. And it took about 2 weeks for the records to get from Memphis to Baltimore. So during that time, Dr. Rodriguez was giving a seminar in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Fleming just wound up going to this seminar in New Orleans. And so when Dr. Fleming gets there and listens through all the seminar about eyes, eyelids and everything, and didn't know he was going to talk about face transplants, I don't guess. So after the seminar, Dr. Fleming goes up to him and gives him a card and says, I got a patient, writes my name on it, said, I want you to look him up and see if you can help him. I think you can help him. Well, when Dr. Rodriguez gets back to Baltimore, about this time, my records have made it, and they're sitting on his desk. And when he goes in his desk, he's emptying out his pockets and stuff and cards the doctors gave him, and my name on the paperwork and my name on the card line up.
It just happened to be that way.
Just lined up.
It's amazing.
And then he called me and said, we need to get you up here. And I went to Baltimore and started doing the testing and stuff. They talk to you and they tell you it's going to take about a year and a half to do all the testing. They got to make sure that you can withstand this surgery because it's 30 hours, 36 hour surgery.
You got to be physically able.
Right.
Your body has to be potentially a match in some capacities.
Yeah. So they checked everything. So the final step is coming to Mississippi and introducing to all my family and all my friends and seeing if I got a good support system. Because, they've been spending $2 million on me. They don't want me to come home and hate my life and do something I shouldn't.
Sure.
So he comes down and we have a big crawfish cooking at the firehouse and he's getting ready to leave that Sunday. And he said, look, I got to talk to you about something. I said, what's that? And he said, well, I've been offered the chair of plastic surgery at NYU. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm dedicated to you. I told you I'm going to stick with you through this. He said, I think that we should go to New York because we will get a lot more matches there. It's a lot bigger population. He said, but if you don't want to do that, I understand, and we'll stay at Baltimore until I get finished. Then I'll go. And I said, no, Doc, I'm listening to you, whatever you think. So in my head, I'm thinking, hey, all these testing that I've done, all these tests will transfer from Baltimore to New York.
Yeah.
So he gets to New York, a few months later or whatever, gets all settled and has me come up there. And nothing will transfer. I have to start
everything all over again. Oh, my goodness.
Another year and a half. So that's why I didn't get listed until August of 2014.
Right.
I'd done all the testing. Some of it went pretty quick, but it was grueling, just very hard stuff. I mean, I was spending a lot of time in New York City. From Senatobia, Mississippi to New York City is a big jump.
Yeah.
And mainly all this time, I'd have some buddies go with me sometime, but 90% of the time by myself in a strange city, can't half see, and just figuring it out. So I get up there and get all the testing done and get listed. And he tells me, so well, probably during the holidays, we'll get a call with a match because that's the, time of year that we have a lot of matches. And
well, I mean, the clear factor of it is it's a lot of times when there's a lot of accidents.
Right.
And I guess at point of the time, automobile
it's a lot
accidents.
of busy time.
Yes.
People are in New York.
So do they have to find someone who is relatively aged and things of that nature?
They have the certain requirements that they go by.
Yeah.
And so in going through all the holidays, nothing happens.
Yeah.
January rolls around, February, and I'm packed up every day thinking it's today the day. And that's a lot harder than it sounds because you're thinking what's going on, So
you're setting them go. Yeah.
It wound up in March. At the end of March, I got a call. And they said, we've got a match. We need you to get on up here. So my workman's comp had already scheduled a charter jet out of Batesville, Mississippi. So I got to the airport, and Bill came with me. Bill Weeks, a good friend of mine, and Jimmy Neal and all of them. They were at the airport, telling me bye and stuff, and got in the airplane. We had to stop in Meridian and pick my sister up. And we got there, and they put me up in this little hotel-type room. We got there. This is 8, 9 o'clock at night by now. Mm-hmm. And they said they were doing some final testing on it. They'd already got the approval from the family. and everything was basically a go. So I get there. And
from the donor's family. Yeah.
Bill and I walking around, and we walk in McDonald's, of course, and at 10 o'clock in New York, their ice cream machines don't work either. They didn't have it. Theirs
don't work either. I think it's a nationwide problem.
They were broke also. Bill wanted some ice cream.
Yeah.
So I get back, and they called me and say, you need to come down and do some lab work. We need to get some labs drawn because we got to check several other things. And I told Bill right then, I said, Bill, it's not going to go. I said, I got a bad feeling about it. And they did the lab work, and I had to go back a second time and do more lab work, and they checked something that wasn't right, so they pulled the plug on it and told us, look, so y'all just hang out up here this weekend, and you can go back home Monday, and we'll start again. So rock's on, get back home, a couple more months. By this time, this is July, I get a call, and he said, look, we've got a Hispanic. But this time, I'm like, man, I'm so tired and ready. I'm just ready to get it done. So they were going to put a Hispanic. They'd already got approval of the family, but something happened that didn't match up too. So in August, we got the call. This is number 3. And I called Bill, and he was truck driving then, and he said, man, I'm 8 hours away from home. He said, don't leave me. I said, I can't wait on you. I said, that ain't no big deal. I said, I got a bad feeling about it too. So when I said, I'm going to get there and come right back home. He said, man, keep your head up. Just keep on. It's going to happen. And I said, I know. I'm just frustrated. So I called my sister and said, look, I'm not going by Meridian this time. She said, oh, yeah, you are. You're coming by here to get me. So she wouldn't let me not get her. So I went by there and picked her. We flew by there and picked her up, Meridian, and went on to New York. And as soon as the plane landed, Dr. Rodriguez was at the airport, and he said, it's 100% go. Nice. He said, go eat a good dinner. So my sister and I went to Wolfgang's and ate a steak, of course. And I checked myself. We checked into the hospital about 8 or 9 o'clock that night. And they were just prepping me, getting me ready. And then that morning, it was go time. And that was, surgery was 26 hours. And at the back of my head, they left the part open because that's how the other patient died. When they sewed everything up, when he laid his head back on the pillow, he got an infection. So they left mine open and stayed there for a little while. But I had a rupture or something, and I had to go back in and do another 8-hour emergency surgery and get that done. And I had, before the surgery, I was acting all tough and everything. I was telling the physical therapist, I said, look, whenever they tell you that I'm good enough to get up and walk, don't let me lay in that bed. Get me up. No matter what you got to do, get me up. So it seemed like about 2 hours after surgery, which I know was several days after surgery, a couple of days after surgery, that physical therapist walked in there and he said, all right, Patrick, ready to get up? Man, you touched me, I'll kill you. I didn't want to get up. I was hurting so bad. I was like, my God, just let me lay here. Yeah. But it got better day and day. And this time, they had done the eyelids and stuff, and Dr. Rodriguez had prepared me. He said, look, it's going to, we're thinking 3 to 6 months for the muscles in your eyes to connect where you'll be able to blink to see. So on day day number 6, Dr. Rodriguez comes in, and he's got a light. And I could tell when he shined light in my eyes. I could tell. And he was right up in my face, just right there. And he shined the light, and when he did, I opened my eyes up. But it was so blurry, I couldn't see him. But Jimmy said, man, he fell backwards because he scared.
He wasn't expecting.
He wasn't expecting me to open my eyes up in 6-7 days. So after that, I started, just getting better. And I started doing physical therapy every day. The first day I went down there, I got on the exercise bike and rode 5 miles. Wow. Because I knew I had to get better. My kids were coming to see me. And, my 2 youngest ones, they never knew me before I was injured. They were born in 2003 and 2004.
So they never saw you before. Yeah.
They never saw me before. Yeah. So normal.
And this is 2015, correct?
This is 2015. So normal. Yeah. Well, this was normal to them. Yeah. So my youngest son, Cullen, he said, Dad, I don't know why you have to do this. He said, I'm just scared I won't recognize you. I said, well, if you don't recognize me, just close your eyes and I'll talk to you. And he was fine with that. But the first time he saw me, when they came up to the hospital and saw me, I was up walking around. I couldn't eat real good and couldn't talk real good, but I pushed myself to be better because I knew they were coming. They weren't scared. Sure. So when he got there, I hugged him and talked to him, and
he knew.
100%.
Yeah.
His fear was gone as soon as he saw me.
Yep.
And it worked out good.
So, maybe some of the questions I have, I love the details you got into there, but obviously there's a donor at this point in time. Yep. Do they make you aware of who the donor is?
They don't until after the surgery.
Right.
They don't. And they wouldn't have if the donor's mom didn't want to meet me.
Sure.
But that
man, I bet that was hard for her.
They wrote about that day. And when I got to say somebody got his heart,
wow,
he saved about 8 people's lives that
amazing.
Day, which mine wasn't life-threatening. I wasn't going to die without it. But he changed my life forever, and I'm forever grateful.
That's amazing. Man, and I know his family. I know if there's a silver lining in losing a loved one, to know that they gave so much more,
His mother, I would go hang out with him a little while, and just, she was such a great lady. And I got a call in 2016 or early 2017. She had cancer and she beat it, but it came back. And she was in a hospital in Ohio, and she was just barely hanging on. And they wanted me to come up there to see her. And I drove straight from Senatobia all the way to Ohio. I got up there to see her, and she hadn't been responsive in days. And when I got there and squeezed her hand, she opened her eyes and looked at me. And that was it.
Oh, wow.
About 2 hours later, she was gone.
Man.
Yeah, it was tough.
That's hard to explain, really, in words.
It is. It's just,
yeah.
You never know what people are going through. You never know what people, she was holding on, I think, to me coming up there to see her like that, because they had told her I was coming.
Yeah.
And she was just a great lady.
Yeah. And man, unbelievable. She gave you a gift.
She gave so many people a gift.
Absolutely.
She had given, like the guy in the video on Nightline said, the lady that got his heart, got the heart of a tiger.
Yeah. Speak on that real quick. You did a Nightline episode here in the last month or so.
Yeah. Well, I did one in right after the transplant in 2015, 2016. It actually won a Emmy.
Oh, wow. So you're an Emmy winning
Nightline
audition.
Actually, Juju she's going to mail me the Emmy award that they won. She gave it to me.
So you did one recently too, though.
I did one. I went back up there. She's helped me with some of the promotion on the book, just trying to get the word out and trying to get it out. It's a great story of hope. I mean, there's so many people, including myself. I had lost all hope of ever being better, and I just finally, after all my struggles, just finally hit my knees and prayed to God, just get me through this and show me a better life. And there's so many things that line up in that book that it's got to be God. I mean, there's no other way. So many things that happen. And I've had people say this is crazy all the time. I said, no, there's no way that happened. But I've had voices speak to me, and I know it's the Holy Spirit speaking to me, telling me different things. And there's so many things that I've heard, that voice, that have happened. And so many things that if I would have done what that voice told me to, I may not be where I'm at today. But it was just, I was angry. I was so much pride in me. I was wanting to do it all my way. I was praying to God to help me, but then telling him how to do it. Don't work like that.
They don't work like that.
No, I don't work like that.
Hey guys, this show is brought to you in part by RoofWorks Roofing Company. Not only just friends of the family, friends of the show, but great people, a great company. You can trust them for any of your roofing needs. Call them today. Check out what they have to offer. Free quotes, free inspections. And I can tell you right now, they're going to back up their work. Call them today at 662-303-0345. You can also reach them at roofworksmidsouth.com. Where did it start taking a turn for the best? Like, I know after you got the face transplant, there was a lot of healing that had to be done, and you had to go back every so often. It's a constant going back and doing checkups. They got to see what's taking, not taking, that kind of thing.
Well, after, Dr. Rodriguez and them really got involved, and because, like I said, I wasn't able to work before my transplant, and I had lost everything that I'd had. Couldn't drive. I was dependent on my mother to carry me everywhere, and she didn't like to drive at all. She was a homebody. She wanted to stay at home every day.
Right.
And I like to go. I like to do. But I didn't have money to do that. I was making really good money, and I went to $1,000 a month. On disability
or whatever. Yeah.
$1,184 a month on disability.
Wow.
And over the years, it got a little bit better, but it still wasn't enough. It's not a livable wage.
Right.
And finally, Dr. Rodriguez got into workman's comp and said, look, y'all need to compensate him for his travel. He needs a driver to drive him places, to take him places. And they started paying for more stuff,
Right.
So that did help me out a lot.
Make your life a little bit
easier.
I
had something to look forward to. After my transplant, it was, they helped me out a good bit on that too. And then finally, actually, in 2019, they did a medical set-aside and set it up, everything, and settled out on my accident appointment, so it helped me get to where I'm at.
20 years later?
Yep.
Come on, man. 20 years later?
Years later.
Jesus. I mean, that just doesn't even make sense. What do they think people do after this, It
was awful. It was the hardest times. I don't wish them on anybody.
Man, I'm with you on that. I know you don't. You're speaking from the absolute where you've been at the bottom.
Well, yeah. When I originally got hurt, and this is another God story here, but I had, when you're on your own business, people try to sell you everything.
Oh, sure.
And then I think it was 99 or 2000, a lady comes in my shop. Well, that was actually 7 months.
Tell people what your business was, just to be clear.
A Goodyear tire store in Senatobia. Okay. So tires, wheels, did automotive service.
Yes, sir.
But this lady comes in and she says, I want to sell you some accident insurance. And I'm 27 years old this time. I don't need any more insurance, lady.
Yeah,
She wouldn't leave. Wouldn't take no for an answer. And she said, look, it's just $12 a month. So finally, I voided out. I signed a check and voided it and gave it to her. And I said, look, just draft my account just to get her to leave.
Yeah.
And that was through a combined insurance accident policy.
Okay.
And I paid on it 7 months. I paid $84 to that premium. And when I got hurt, every day that I stayed in ICU, it was $1,200 a day. So it wound up paying me about $350,000.
Wow.
Over about 4 years.
Yeah, just livable.
And then and then eventually that wore down and that wore out where it wasn't paying anymore because when I'd go in the hospital, I'd stay, most of this is outpatient, or I'd go stay one night and it'd be a couple $100 or something, But
sure.
That helped me through the first several years with doing things.
Thank goodness for that lady.
Thank goodness. I mean, I don't know what I'd have done without it.
Absolutely. So if you're listening and you know who he is and you sold him that policy.
Oh, I know who it was.
Oh, do you?
Miss Lucius in town.
Oh, wow.
Well, she came in. And
she knew something. That was like almost meant to be. You know what I mean? So
Lucius, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, thankfully that happened. But again, that sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when you can't work.
Not over several years.
No.
But it was a blessing for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And then, of course, you get a settlement finally 20 years later from workman's comp to set aside medical expenses for you. Which it wasn't
nothing like it should have been, but it was enough to,
Basically, it's an ongoing to maintenance your health care with your facial transplant.
Pays for my travel expenses to New York, so I have to go a lot. And
sure. How often do you have to go back up there now?
Well, the first 7 years after the transplant, I never had any issues.
Not one?
Never had an issue.
It's amazing.
They were just like, wow, this is crazy. But during COVID, I quit going up there because all my doctors were ER doctors. So they said, look, just hang out at the house. And I went to Dr. Bagwell. And he was in Senatobia at that time. And he said, Pat, something's not right. He said, your face is swollen and you got spots all over your face, so something's not right. Mm-hmm. So I called Dr. Rodriguez and he said, do lab work and send it. Well, we did lab work and send it. And he said, man, your numbers are great. So Dr. Bagwell kept saying something's not right. He's one of the best doctors around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He cares. And he said, something's not right. So basically, we did more lab work, and they wind up sending labs to UCLA in California, and they found out that my body started building antibodies fighting the transplant. So after 7 years, I had to start going like every 5 months. I have to go to New York and do plasmapheresis to pherese out all the bad antibodies out of my blood. Like I put a cath line in my neck and
so strange. Everything's good for so long, and then all of a sudden, just one day, it just rejects.
And they don't know why.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
It just started.
Yeah,
it started. Once it starts, it never stops. It'll be
so with medical advancements, though, they know how to keep this from like being a problem. Like you can go up there.
Well, it got to be a real problem. And in 2023, where they had sewn my transplant to my body, that it had started breaking down. My transplant was basically dying because they didn't know what was going on. So I had a blood vessel rupture, an aneurysm, and I literally almost bled to death at my house. And luckily, Howard Boland from the fire department, my son had worked. He worked at Como Steakhouse, and he had got home late that night. And I was sitting at home in the recliner waiting on him to get home. And when he walked in the house, I was tired. I just laid in the recliner. He laid on the couch right beside me. So I kicked the recliner back, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, I could feel something on my shirt. I had on a white T-shirt. And I looked down, it was red everywhere. And I felt my neck, and I could feel blood spraying out the side of my neck. So I tried to wake him up. Of course, he's sound asleep. And he's like, Dad, I'm sleeping. I said, Braden, get up. He looks at me, and all he sees is blood everywhere.
Scares him to death.
I was scared. He couldn't even stay at the house.
Yeah.
He had to leave the house for about a week. And it's blood everywhere. It looked like a murder scene because anything above your neck, your shoulders, it's awful. So I get there, finally, I'm getting bath towels and putting on my neck, trying to stop it. It's not stopping. This time I'm getting lightheaded and dizzy. I thought it was it. I tried to call my ex-wife. She wouldn't answer the phone. She had her phone off on silent or something. And Braden was on the phone with the ambulance service and 911 trying to get fire department there. Howard came in there, and he finally got it stopped, holding it. But he sat there for like 12 minutes waiting on. This is 20 minutes waiting on the ambulance to get there. And then they got there, and I went down to Senatobia Hospital, and the doctor there, he put a silver nitrate on it and stopped it for a little while. Mm-hmm. He said, you'll be good to go home. And I mean, I was home. He said, don't do nothing, though. Wait till your doctor calls and tells you what to do. So I get home, and I just bent down, not thinking, and popped again.
Oh, my goodness.
This time they sent me to the med, and I had to go in there and have emergency surgery, and they tied it off. But it was, you talking about getting somebody's attention? I was in the med at the ER for like 24 hours, and they moved me to a room, and this lady was just nonchalant walking in. How you doing? And about that time it ruptured again. I was praying literally like a horror scene, and she was like, oh, gosh. Yeah. She went to panicking.
Oh, well. So a lot of it is just due the skin is thin in those areas.
Yeah, well, it's just it started opening up. My veins started opening up, and it one just ruptured.
Right. So it was from the neck up around the skull. Yeah. As the transplant.
Actually, that's what happened to my left ear when I got that. When I had that rejection with my transplant started dying, half my ear fell off. That's.
I know we got headphones on, folks, but if he didn't, I mean, you can pull them off and show folks if you'd like.
The top of it's gone.
Yeah. So part of the ear started.
Top of it took off. Yeah.
Sure. So these are some of the issues that he went through during that time. By the way, I couldn't even imagine all that. Just waking up with something new, going on.
Every day is something.
Every day is something new. But what's amazing is you have this great, positive, loving life, love your grandkids, love your kids. Like, it's all you live for every day.
Well, it is.
And you're a positive person.
I have to be now. It was a time when I was very negative. Life was hard, and I hated it, and I didn't want any part of it. I wanted to just crawl in a shell and just lay there, I guess.
Sure.
I look at my grandbabies, and none of us have a lot of time on this earth. You think you do, but at the end of the day, life is short.
It is.
And it's so fragile. And I see a lot of people my age that are leaving this earth every day.
Yeah, me too.
They're falling off.
We talked about we're relative age, and it's every day somebody new. We're talking about
I'm 52, going to be 52 years old, so I want to spend every day that I can with my family, with my grandbabies, my kids. My kids still call me every day when they need something.
Yeah.
And I finally told my oldest son the other day. He called me, he had a flat on the interstate, and he called me and said, "I need your help." And I said, "I'm gonna come help you." But I said, "You got to get to where you can live in a life I don't exist."
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know how much time I got left here. I'm running on borrowed time anyway.
Yeah, I understood.
But my kids have, I'm building it up now. Just like I put a TikTok up the other day, basically saying I'm preparing my kids for a life I don't exist.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
Yeah.
It's their turn.
Yeah.
It's time for them to take up
that's the reins. That's the way it is for a lot of us.
It's got to be.
Yeah, has to be. I've got some amazing kids myself, Patrick.
That's
so
good.
I do know, and I know you do as well.
I do.
Yeah. One of them works at your favorite restaurant in the whole world.
Where's that at?
You go there every night.
One of your kids works there?
No, yours does.
Oh, two of my kids do.
Two of your kids work there.
I thought you were talking about your kids.
No. No. I'm talking about your kids, your amazing kids, yeah.
Well, three of my kids have worked, one at Windy City and two at the steakhouse. But
don't just say steakhouse. You can name it out. Give them a little shout out. Como Steakhouse in Como, Mississippi. And this dude, you can probably find him there 3 or 4 nights a week.
We go to Delta a good bit.
Delta too. We're probably going to go to Delta when we finish the show. We're going to go eat steaks. If anybody's, we're going to delay that.
Too. So. They don't open up as much as Como, and I go hang out with my buddies and see hang out with my kids and stuff.
So that's part of it, man. Like, you got this amazing family and a great group and network of friends now in life, and you've had them for a long time. It's just you've been able to kind of see a better side of life in the last few years.
That's
and
correct.
That's what I was trying to get into from the time that life really took a turn for the better. Was, what would you say, since obviously 2016, 17 in that range?
Yeah, in that range there.
Yeah.
I get up every day now and I've got something to look forward to. When I was at home with my mom and I couldn't I'd have to ask her to take me somewhere, and she didn't want to go. It was always a hassle, and she hated leaving the house. And it was a very tough time.
Yeah. Is your mom and father still with us?
No, my dad died in 2011 on my mom's birthday in 2011, and my mom died last year.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Lost my
July 23, I'm sorry.
Lost my mother July 4th of that year, same year. Yeah. It's a tough time. And we need those folks.
I guarantee
Yeah, man, I miss her every day. But I'm sure as difficult as it got some days, she's all you had and you're all she had. You know what I mean? So
my mom and I, we never were really close. Mm-hmm. I mean, I loved her. She's my mother, and she loved me and stuff.
Sure.
We had a different kind of relationship, and I think the good Lord put me back in that house.
Yeah.
For us to become close, because at the end of her life, she thanked me a lot for things, and she would have never done that.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
she had dementia, and it was some tough times there with her at the end, but it was. And, God put us in that position right there.
And it goes back to where family is all we got.
That's
you know what I mean? And we only got one mom and one daddy, at the end of the day. So
100%.
And then these friends of ours that we have that become family. You know what I mean? Like become as important or better than family in some cases, And you got this new neighbor of yours that moved in and just causing all kinds of ruckus over there. Mr. CJ. Hey, CJ, what's up, man? Him and his beautiful new bride. He just got married. Some amazing kids, and his little daughter's probably running the whole property. She's probably over there telling you what to do. She's
my little neighbor.
Yeah, all your little neighbors. So amazing people doing amazing things. And again, I want to implore all of you to go check out. Again, we're going to push this up, Facing the Fire with Pat Hardison. Look at it on Amazon. I'm sure Books A Million. Barnes & Noble. Again, we're going to post it in the intro to where people can go and buy it. Derek will put all that in the intro for us. So I know that there's tons more left of the story. So this is just the first half of things here, Pat. So one of the things I want to, like when we start talking about your life, the things that are in this book is going to probably shock a lot of people of the details. Some of the stuff you talk about today is probably not in the book. Some of it is.
Right.
But, just the family part and what you do in the community. I want to personally say my big food fundraiser I had here a couple of months ago, Pat found out about it through a friend of mine, our common friend, and he's like, I want to get in and help with that. That's the first thing you did. That's the kind of guy you are, because you are a community-minded, want to help people kind of guy. Probably why you became a volunteer firefighter to begin with. So
I enjoyed that for sure.
Are you still connected with the fire department?
Some, but it's changed so much now. There's so many new guys on there, and it's, the volunteer fire department is struggling nationwide. People don't want to be volunteers anymore. We've gotten to a generation where they have to be paid for everything they do. They think they're worth a lot more than we ever were.
Sure.
And it's not to everybody, but
sure.
A lot of the people, it's about the money.
Yeah.
And to do something like that, it can't be about the money.
And I want to remind people that all these little communities, especially that have these little volunteer fire departments, they're so essential.
They have bake sales, they have barbecues, they have spaghetti suppers. Go buy a plate. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You throw it away. Donate some money.
Donate some money. That's what counts.
When you call, they're coming.
Yeah, man, and they're gonna.
Everybody needs.
When you talk about your incident that night, the accident that took place to basically change your life forever, your whole focus was to save this woman that was that you thought was in this house.
That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. That goes back to a guy who wasn't getting paid. He put his life on the line. His family's future on the line to save someone there that he thought was there, even didn't even know for sure, just thought she was there. And that shows a lot about who you really are to go into the flames without even knowing for sure.
We've done it so much, it was just.
But it takes special people to do that. I talk about that all the time. So,
sure.
And so to all you first responders and firefighters and police officers out there that are doing this for minimal amount of money and no money, like the high majority of our community runs off of volunteers, when it comes to that stuff.
People don't realize it.
Yeah.
It's, it's just like the things you have at all these, just about every organization, whether it's your sponsorship at a baseball game or wherever, when you got the team and you got two people that's going to sign up to do everything, and everybody else wants to come and benefit from it, sign up to do something, sign up, help. If you got some young people that want to be volunteers, send them down there to do it. It's not as dangerous as, it's dangerous, yes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got all the training and you got a good group of guys that are going to help you through all of that.
Absolutely. And if you're young, I don't think you're saying don't get involved in that.
Right.
It's important to be a volunteer fire department.
It is.
If you're young, get involved, learn the important
There's so much
stuff that you can learn from the volunteer fire department.
It's so much more advanced now
Yes.
in things with thermal cameras, thermal imaging.
yeah.
So we'd had that years ago. We wouldn't have had to go in the house.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't even have to go in there
But
had they
now,
known it. So,
it's everybody needs to, help your community.
in any way
There's
possible.
so many people complaining about things, whether their order gets messed up from McDonald's or there's something to complain about. At the end of the day, jump in and help out. Make
That's
it
right.
better.
That's
You
right.
can't
That's right.
quit complaining and make
And
it
don't
better.
worry. This is one thing. Don't worry about the accolades. You know what I mean? Kind of. It's hard. I know that it's hard to train your mind to that. Some people are just like they got to get something in return for their effort.
It is. And another thing is just everybody's so busy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Everything's so expensive right now that everybody's working so much that they can pay for everything they've gotten.
Sure.
And I'm gonna tell you, I was young like that, and I made good money. I made a lot of money when I was young and bought everything, and all that meant nothing.
Nothing.
At the end of the day, nothing.
You can't take it with you when you go.
It
either.
didn't. When I was laying up there in ICU, that stuff was just sitting there. It was just.
Didn't
that
matter.
Stuff don't mean anything.
None of it. Well, you had a unique perspective on life at that point that a lot of people, I hope, nobody ever sees. Honestly, it's a hard way to learn that value, that lesson. So, but you, with your new unique perspective, one thing that I've learned by just talking to you a little bit is how much you love your family and you love your life. And I know that about you, and it just gives me
I try to love everybody.
joy in my heart. Like I say it all the time. Like I don't have no agenda with you. I just have pure love, and I want to help people.
I want to love everybody.
Yeah.
This country needs it right now. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever. At the end of the day, it's just so much bitterness and hate out there right now.
And a guy coming from you have every reason in the world to be mad. You know what I mean? But you see the light. You see the positive. You see the hope. A kind word can go so far sometimes.
Just like I read a story when I was in New York. I read a story, and this guy, he was going through depression and everything, and I don't forget how old the story said it was, but he wrote a note and said, I'm going to walk from my hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. If one person stops me and says hello or speaks to me, I won't jump. They found the note in his room when they found his body.
Oh, my goodness.
He walked 30 blocks.
Yeah.
And not one person said one word to him.
Yeah. That's
you never know what somebody's going through.
Unbelievable story.
You never know what somebody's going through.
Everybody's going through something too.
Everybody's got their own struggles.
Everybody. And it could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be somebody in your family. I was just telling my wife yesterday, I have had, I don't want to use this word, but I've got some close family members and friends with inoperable brain stuff going on, tumors and things, and just people aging and passing away or getting close, just looming death all around us, And I mean, that's just part of life. As we get older too, this becomes more and more of our daily routine, our family, our uncles and aunts and cousins and stuff. And then, of course, you got the young ones it happens to, And I consider us young, Pat. Some people may not, but I consider us still young.
51, 52.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking we're young. And when you got friends like we have that are having issues like that, and I mean, it really is eye-opening.
People don't understand what a value it is to be healthy.
It is true.
There's so many people that are not healthy, and they want to be healthy.
Yeah,
I hear people complaining about things sometimes, and I just want to think, my gosh, you're complaining about getting to do something while somebody's laying in a hospital bed.
Yes,
praying to God that they can get out and do that.
I always tell people, as bad as you got it, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody would trade places with you in a second.
100%.
Yeah, and you've been on that side of it, so I know that.
100%.
Is there anything we didn't cover that you think maybe we need to bring awareness to, like in your case? I mean, I want to save things for the book because I don't want to get too much of your story out here.
I don't think that's, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows my story by now. It's all over the internet. And
it is, but believe it or not, we want to introduce some more people that maybe not know.
I hope
and they
so.
buy your book. This is important. You got to buy a book. Yeah, you got to buy the audio book. I'm not much of a reader. I would probably need the audio book, to be honest with you, Patrick. So
the audio book's good.
Yeah, does it talk about your steak eating habits in here?
At the end of the book, we do talk about eating steak.
Do you?
I didn't put Clyde's name in there. I had it in there, and we took it out because he's such a private person.
He is private.
He doesn't want any recognition.
I know. I sometimes you said be the face of stuff, Pat. Like it, it just one of those things. Clyde kind of wants to be that way, but he can't be because he's like just like us. Like he's a bull, take the bull by the horn kind of guy. So it just is what it is.
I always thought that. In 2019, I'll never forget. Clyde and I, we've known each other since high school, but we've never really just hung out. He's worked, I've worked. We had families and all this. And in 2019, I walked into Walmart one night. And Clyde was in there, and I'll never forget the look on his face. He was broken. Yeah. He looked at me and he said, "Pat, my wife has left me." Yeah. And it crushed me. Yeah. Because I could see him, and I knew I'd been where he was at. Sure. And it hurt him so bad, and it was just, and we started. I said, "Man, this all understand. We'll go to dinner." Dinners. And that's how we started going to dinner, and we went to the Como Steakhouse every night for 3 years that they were open on Sunday night.
And by the way, he was losing a tremendous amount of weight during this time eating steaks.
He was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and running 3 or 4 miles. Because he was trying to keep his mind off of everything going on with this relationship.
And guess what? He's back happy. And guess what? He's gaining some weight.
He has. He's fat as a killing.
That's hilarious. I'm glad that y'all don't partake in all the wonderful desserts. That's my problem. When I get done with the steak, I want the desserts too. That's
I'm a dessert. I love my sweets.
Man, I do too.
I keep City Hall cheesecake at the house, or
I just went by there the other day, and I got me I got a whole one too, man. Like just a piece, like different pieces all the way around. My wife was like, "What did you do that for?" And I was like, "Well, I wanted some." She goes, "No, I didn't. No, you can't bring that in the house." Like she's like, give me a hard time because, those things are so good and so tempting.
I told the lady, I used to do the little cupcake deals, and I told the lady, I said, "You don't have anything in here blueberry." I went back in about 2 days later, and she had every
flavor,
3 or 4 different kinds of blueberry in there, and I got them, and I paid her for them. She said, "Patrick, you've got 8 free slices."
Yeah, I know. Like, because they got
points built up
at the City Hall cheesecake, by the way. And I'm going to give them a free shout out because of the fact that I went in the other day and the lady was super excited because I was talking to her about what I was doing, and she goes, "I know who you are." Yeah. She started telling me if she watches the show, and I'm like, yeah. And so I told her, I said, "I'm going to take this whole cake home." And I said, "Give me that one cupcake because nobody's going to know I got it if I eat it on the way." So it was delicious. It was like honey. It was like honey bun something. Man, it was amazing. So
they have good flavor.
They do, man. They got all kinds of stuff in there. And then, but they're just, again, one of the things I always tell people is like shop at your local restaurants, especially when they're like owned by somebody local businesses. If it is your buddy and he's a little bit more expensive, it's because he's doing it himself. He needs that help.
He's the one that's sponsoring your baseball.
Absolutely,
baseball team.
It all gets back in the community.
If you're broke down on the side of the road, he's coming to help you. I mean, it's just you've got to keep it local.
We talked about starting my mom's. I'm gonna tell people now. It's kind of fired up. We got our new 501c. Nonprofit going on. Okay. It's called the Fancy Nancy Foundation. Awesome. And we're going to be giving away vehicles, hot rods, all kinds of cool vehicles. And we're going to be, the first one we're going to be doing is going to be coming out here pretty soon. Clyde Dem's going to help us through the Spider Raffle. We're going to do a Jeep. Yeah. Which nice. I know you're a big Jeep fan. You got one yourself. Yeah. So,
my grandbaby loves my Jeep.
Loves your Jeeps. I know. You posted a TikTok yesterday about her fingerprints all over the back window. And you're like, I'm glad they're there. Yeah.
Oh, man, there's nothing more than that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, be looking for that, and we've got some exciting new things coming on, and I know you're going to be a part of it. You told me you'd help me any way you could, 100%. And I want to be a part of what you're doing ongoing.
100%.
And I love your story. As sad as it is in the beginning, there's a successful end to this thing.
The hope.
It is, man, and I love the fact that you and I've got to know each other a little bit, and we're going to continue to eat steaks. As a matter of fact, we're leaving here and we're going to Delta Steakhouse to go eat. We talked about that. So again, guys, look for Facing the Fire. Pat Hardison story, and give us a little click and review. I don't know how else to tell you other than just find out for yourself the whole story. And
shoot me a message on Facebook and tell me what you think. Give me a review on Amazon and tell me what you think.
Absolutely, and also tell people like you do have TikTok. They can follow you on Pat. You're just Pat Hardison, right?
I don't post a lot of TikToks, but I do post some. I think I'm up to 1,200 followers. Nothing major, but
that's pretty good, though. Yeah. It's hard to get a following on Facebook and TikTok. I mean, it really is. Like, there's so many people out there, so much content. It's hard to find folks that really interested in what you're doing. But I think you're just under Pat Hardison, right?
I think so. I think it's
on TikTok and
Papa Pat.
Papa Pat, maybe that's what it is.
My grandbabies call me Papa, so
yeah.
Papa.
I got you. So Papa Pat, I'm a pop is what I'm called.
Actually, there was a young lady that worked at El Charro. I used to go in there all the time. And before I had grandbabies, she'd always call me Papa Pat.
Papa Pat.
Papa Pat. You go. Papa Pat. And that's how I got to be called Papa.
And you're on Facebook. This is Pat Hardison.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to reach out to him and follow him through Facebook, I think he just has a page. Not a creator, but just a guy. He's just a guy you can friend up or whatever. So follow him on there. Shoot him a message. Tell him what you think about his book. He likes to interact with people. I do know that. So he don't meet a stranger.
I've
witnessed that.
I like eating good food. That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, you probably find him in any of these restaurants if you ever want to go in there. The ones he named off. He goes to the Parish in Hernando. He goes to lots of places. So
that crawfish bread, they got parishes on.
You love it.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Yeah. I think that stuff comes, I think he tries to get it out of New Orleans or something like that.
A couple of loaves of that.
Loaves.
I guarantee you that stuff's good.
I like the crab claws. The little appetizers.
Yeah, we eat those too.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Pat, I don't know how you don't weigh 600 pounds, and you're in good shape, man. Eating all those steaks.
Trying to be.
Yeah.
Not really, though.
You're in pretty good shape. But anyway, man, anything else you want to talk about?
Guess that's it.
Man, I hope we covered as much as the audience wanted to hear without getting too much into the book details. I want to thank you for coming in today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Your continued success and health.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Look out for the next show, guys. Follow us, like us, share this episode. We want to try to sell a lot of books for Pat, so try to get on there and find him on Amazon or anywhere else maybe we mentioned the books. And until next time, bye.